Welcome back, everybody. In today's Wild Side segment, Matt Founts is here from Tanganyika Wildlife Park, and our guest is from Africa.
That's right.
I understand. Introduce us to this kitty.
Well, this is Sprite, and Sprite is an African caracal. We have a couple of caracals, but Sprite and Nico, who are paired up together, they actually came from Africa. We imported them from Africa, and so she's around 2 years old, but kind of similar to the serval that we brought before. These are kind of cousins. Now, the caracals are actually the largest of the small cats that come from Africa. But I mean, they're still not real big. Of course, it's hard to tell when she's laying on her back there. But they do also have very long legs, you know, just like the serval did, and so they're very good at jumping up into the air, catching birds out of midair. But probably what people notice about them the most is the tufts behind their ears.
Yes, so and that's exactly how I described it, because I said it's like cat like the serval, except it has little tufts.
Exactly. So, you know, a lot of people call them like lynx or whatever. Lynx have that, and these are kind of an African lynx. You know, sometimes they're called that, but they're not exactly sure if maybe it's more of a camouflage thing. Their climate is a little bit more desert, a little bit more barren, so that's why they're the kind of solid color, not as spotted like the serval. But beyond that, yeah, no one necessarily knows the purpose of the tufts on the cats.
Well, they're very distinctive.
Yeah,
that's the one thing I remembered. So
they're very pretty.
And you touched on their climate and where they're from. So being from Africa, I was going to ask you, obviously this is not the most temperate of climates right now.
No.
So these guys are obviously inside.
No,
at
actually
this point,
they're outside.
No? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they you know, they have a box that we keep, and they stay warm in there, but they're actually out quite a bit. So they're doing all right in this weather. The coat, I mean, if you feel her, you can feel her if you want. But and her coat's a little thinner right now. The male's got a thicker coat. But yeah, I mean, they've got a pretty good size coat on them in the winter, and then they'll shed a lot of that in the summer. And so they do okay in the weather.
I know you mentioned also the coloring on the top was for kind of the barren landscape, if you will. With the spots on the belly, is that just...
you know, not exactly sure. Not exactly sure. So.
All right, and we always like to mention too, the park isn't necessarily open at this point, right?
That's right. Yeah, we close in the winter.
Okay, but you're not necessarily shut down. I mean, the public doesn't come through, but you guys are still working.
Yeah, we're still out there doing things, and we can still do education programs or events, and we have event facilities. Or our gift shop is always open, but yeah, we're just getting ready for the next year, trying to figure out what changes we want to make for next year, what new interactive exhibits, and should have a lot.
Hint at all what you're working on?
I think we're finally going to get our Tiger Tug of War done. So that's going to be pretty awesome. We're going to expand that, and then working on a few new interactive stations. So we'll see how those go. They may not be open until a little bit later in the season, like summer, May or June. But so a lot of that kind of stuff. Not as many new exhibits this year, but we're going to continue to enhance a lot of the ones that we had, and still do some new interactive stuff. So.
Sure. And when does your season start? Just
we'll open spring break, so I think March 14th or whenever it is.
It's going to be here before we know it.
It's like 71 days or something like that. Not that we're counting down or anything, but yeah.
That's great. Well, thanks for stopping by. We always learn something new and interesting from your visits here, Matt. Welcome back, everybody. Thursday is our Pet Project Day when we welcome Adrian Fox from the Kansas Humane Society and one of their lovable pets. This one obviously very treat motivated. Why don't you introduce us?
Well, this is Peter, and this isn't a little lovable dog. This is a big lovable dog.
Yes, we don't get these very often. It's nice to have a bigger dog.
It is, and he's 111 pounds, so a bigger
area.
Yes.
Okay.
So he was a transfer in, he was a stray, so we don't have too much of a background information on him.
Okay.
But what we do know is he needs to lose just a little bit of weight at 111. He also is about 8 years old, so he's getting on a little bit older side, but he's also very, very good on a leash for a big dog.
Yes.
Rides very well in the car. Come here.
Potty trained, I would assume.
Yeah, he goes outside. He also just very well mannered. He also just kind of lays next to you, got on the couch with me back there, did really well. One thing that we looked with him was probably some enrichment toys, just to kind of keep him motivated and focused on something like that. Because he is a bigger dog, so he might, if he gets bored, it's just easier for him to express that energy that way.
Okay, such a sweet face, too. He's very attentive when he knows you have treats.
Yep, and the best thing is his adoption fee has been paid for by a donor. So if you want to adopt him, you can come to the Humane Society and pick him up.
What a great deal is that?
Yep, we just asked possibly for a donation for him.
Okay, someone else thought he had a sweet face, too, evidently. All right, let's get...
It is 6:38, and that means it's morning media time. We're talking about some of those stories we think might get you all talking.
We got a couple good
this morning.
Today.
I think this one is especially a talker. So some couples have a really strong preference for whether they have a boy or a girl. But few go to the extreme lengths to get what they want that this Australian couple did. They spent, get this, $50,000 and traveled to California to undergo a high-tech gender selection treatment, all to ensure they'd have a baby girl. The procedure is actually banned in their home country of Australia. So that begs the question, if it even needs to be a question, how much would you pay? You.
Absolutely nothing.
I wouldn't either, to be able to choose the gender of your child. I kind of believe a kid's a gift.
Yeah,
you know,
you get
regardless.
what you get.
Right.
You don't get to pick all your gifts exactly what you want. You get what people give
Is-
you. So
this
there
time
you go.
of year, that's an especially
Yes.
important lesson, right?
Yes, exactly. Well, have you always wanted to smell like a drunk? Really? Have you?
No.
Have you ever had that desire?
No.
Well, if you do, now you can. A university in Scotland has developed a fabric that permanently smells like whiskey. The project was commissioned by the Johnny Walker Distillery. I'm glad this isn't smell-o-vision.
Yeah, no kidding. What do you get? What do you mean?
No.
What do you
Well,
mean?
because you
this,
smell.
this story.
But, you know,
per
we
se.
couldn't, you know, we can't smell the fabric
I'm just-
or whatever.
I'm trying to figure out what the benefit
Yeah.
of this could possibly be.
I mean, what's the
I mean,
point?
if I'm gonna
Keep your
s-
boss guessing, am I drunk or am I not drunk?
Yeah. Well, typically, if they have to guess, they're going to
Yeah.
guess wrong, and then you're probably going to be
In trouble
looking for
anyway.
work. Yeah. Anyway, get a look at our morning media articles through links on the Kansas Today Facebook fan page. It is 20 minutes until 7 o'clock. That means it's morning media time on this Tuesday morning. The holiday season, of course, wrapping up. And
Right.
people consider New Year's kind of the end of that. But gingerbread houses are a big tradition during the holidays. Over the years, designs have become much more elaborate as time goes by. And each year, the kitchen staff at the White House creates its version of a gingerbread White House. It is even equipped with an American flag. Others have created cathedrals and even a reindeer plane gingerbread house. I mean, take a look at this. That is
That's a lot of
pretty
work.
impressive.
Do people eat those when they're done?
Well, I was going to ask you. I mean, do you use? I don't know. Do you use glue? or
No,
anything?
it's
No,
all frosting.
illegal. It
Frosting is, well, I mean, it's not illegal. I guess you can use what you're going to use, but it is supposed to be frosting. That's
Mm-hmm.
the glue. So, and then the candy and you use to decorate. So,
Yeah, but it's art. You'd feel guilty cutting into that, would you not?
yeah. Well, I don't know if I want to eat something that's been sitting out for days and days either.
Well, then
Be a little
you're not
chewy.
like the rest of my coworkers. But
That's true. That it would get eaten in our newsroom.
would.
That
Yes,
is
it
for
would.
sure. Well, if you've ever wanted bread made out of gold, this might be your chance. Check this out. After spotting the world's most expensive coffee, a baker decided to start coating the tops of his bread in gold so that he might be able to have wealthier clients. A gold-covered loaf of bread costs around $150, and according to the baker, the gold on the bread has no taste. I'm just wondering how expensive coffee related to gold on
Gold.
bread.
Well, exactly. Yeah, no. The answer is no. I have never had the thought.
Okay.
You know what I need on my bread?
What?
You know,
Butter.
maybe apple butter,
Yeah,
some
ooh,
jelly.
apple butter.
Right?
Oh,
Not
love
gold.
apple butter. Yeah.
Anyway, get a look at our morning media articles through links on the Kansas Today Facebook fan page.